Hi there, and welcome to this video series. My name is Emily. I am the Growth Marketing Manager for Powell Teams here at Powell Software. In this episode of Tackling Microsoft Teams, we will look at teams without owners. Did you know that usually more than 0.5% of your teams have less than 2 owners? And it has a direct impact on the way you manage your team's environment. Are you curious to know why we recommend to have at least 2 owners for each team in Microsoft Teams? I would like to welcome Anthony McGuinness, our Senior Pre-Sales at Powell Software, who will tell you all about it.
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, I think when you start thinking about how an IT administrator can really benefit from not having orphan teams, which are teams that have no owners, or teams that just have one owner, it's really creating a space where you don't have to do as much administration for the environment. So when you think about it, the biggest thing is making sure that you can set the standards or guardrails, really, standardization, to have 2, 3 owners per team. So when someone does exit, when someone does leave a team in any way, you're not put in a situation where you still have members, but you do not have people that are actually able to make changes to the team. Because that typically creates a ticket and it creates a headache for most IT administrators. So I think that's very important. If you do find yourself in a situation where you have an orphan team, what you end up with is a team that is not allowed to make any changes, and therefore you're going to start to see tickets come in to make those changes. Now that becomes a headache for IT, and you start to have questions of sensitive documents that may be within the team, as well as things like guest membership and anything else that's associated with the team that is no longer able to be changed. Now, of course, with some steps, IT administrators can take on this process, but it just becomes more and more work that could be taken care of in a quicker fashion, being done in a more proactive approach. So that's really the most important thing, and to really start putting, once again, those guardrails in place so that you know that your users are able to do what's appropriate, and that they can do it in a meaningful fashion.
Thank you, Anthony. Now that we have a clear idea of the consequences it has on our team's environment, can you explain how IT leaders can avoid these scenarios?
Powell Teams allows you to set minimums not only for your ownership, but also for your members within the team. It will make it so it's easy to set the standard and guardrails for all of your users to know that they need 2, 3 owners, and you can base that on the templates themselves. So you don't have to have an overall broad standard. You can have it based on any business unit, use case, or anything else that makes the most sense. So when you start to create those teams, you already have the standardization in place to really get what you need out of a team upon creation, and then you can monitor and report based on that so that you're also be able to keep up with standards. So if a team does become orphaned, if a team has them lower than the minimum amount of owners, you can start to get reporting based on that and take action. And so you start to get more data points to make impactful decisions moving forward. As you can see here, we have predefined templates. Each one can have its own ownership and member model to make sure you do not have less than 2 owners or more in your team in template settings. And then moving forward, you're able to report based on that information. Not only can you set a minimum for your owners and members, but you also can have defaults for those same templates. So if you want to have a people manager who wants full visibility into all teams and be an owner of teams that are created within his organization, or you want someone that's already a member in such as like a project situation, you're able to predefine and set all of that within each template. So it doesn't have to be, once again, that broad stroke, but you really can create a granular approach to how you want to facilitate your team's environment. On top of having the ability to do minimum members and owners, you're also able to control the external users per template. So some teams may be allowed to have guests and external users, whereas others may not. We also have a fully baked in ability to use approval processes so that you can have approvers being able to make the decisions of whether a team should be made or not, and make changes to that team prior, as well as being able to send that back to the requester to have them make changes if necessary. Of course, the creation side does not cover the full life cycle. So with the full life cycle, we offer reporting that allows you to track all of your template-based guardrails, as well as being able to understand where your environment stands today. So if you do have a team that has lower amount of owners, if you have a team that does not have a proper membership, you can start to take that information and make decisions based on that. As you can see here, once that team's created, we have KPIs that are easily manageable and able to be monitored by every IT team. So you can see things like teams per user, inactive teams, of course, teams without ownership, inactive teams with guests, and really start to understand where that environment stands today and how you can make changes to impact it directly.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Powell Teams seems to be a great tool for IT leaders. Can you please, in short, highlight the benefits of Powell Teams?
In short, Powell Teams allows you to control the numbers of owners in your teams as well as membership. You can report on all of that information, and you can set up easily with our advanced templates. When you're doing the reporting, you can also use our bot system to proactively start reaching out and have a self-service option for all of your users so that they're able to make the choices necessary. You don't have to go and take manual steps to do things like archiving, reach out, get more owners, and things along those lines. So really with the approach of Powell Teams is to fill that gap between Microsoft Teams as it currently stands and where you really would like to be at in your governance approach, as well as just thinking about standardization and the ability to manage teams as it scales throughout.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. We now know how to avoid the pitfall of these teams without owners in Microsoft Teams, and we now also know how Powell Teams can help us save time. If you are watching this video as an IT administrator or you would like to know more about your team's environment, we invite you to watch our other videos in the same series or to contact us for a personalized health check of your environment. See you in the next video.